Does your gender really affect how you think that much? I think more of my thought patterns come from how the world treats me than innate differences based on gender, or even my own opinions of gender. A lot of people going by on about gender specifically, but honestly when it comes down to it, it's really hard to truly understand anyone who's had a largely different life experience from you. Your understanding is filtered through very clumsy and imprecise human language describing what things are like, so if you haven't experienced something, you're only getting a tiny sample of what was formative for someone. No, but yes. Depends on the environment you're in, which especially when younger, is heavily affected by gender. You're also probably forming a personality when younger. So technically no, but realistically yeah, probably. It's more how we are socialized in society. It's not a strict genetic difference. However, it is very real. Women are generally taught to be more nurturing. On average, they think about others before themselves and place their need above their own. Men generally don't get or understand emotional subtext. You need to be direct in communication. They generally won't pick up on moods, etc. As the BF of a transgender man, I can maybe give some insight. It doesn't change your personality and who you are, but it has consequences. As a man, you're more secure in the choices you make. You don't dwell on them so much as women. You're more secure. As a woman, you're a bit more spontaneous, and you are less sure about your choices. Your gender does not inherently change how you think. How you are raised determines that. There are some things you can never truly know until you experience them. Men won't really know the pain of childbirth or even menstrual cramps. Meanwhile, women won't really know the typical loneliness of male existence unless they seriously attempt to transition, as some have found. Also, as a nature of biology, women's minds just work differently. We see it in not only long-term life choices, but day-to-day choices. The same applies to race, religion, along with most other physical characteristics of human existence, such as dwarfism, mental and physical handicaps, among all the other issues. Yes, gender can affect how people think, act, and are perceived. Gender affects socialization, and that would absolutely have a big impact. It would be difficult to study how much is nature vs nurture, but there has to be some element of both. Probably. I'm never afraid to go out at night by myself, or really in most situations. I don't think it does. Of course it gets harder to empathize with someone the more different they are from you, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. Men and women do seem to think in different patterns, though it's likely that as with most things relating to gender as opposed to sex, much of it socially instilled. We learn patterns of thought the same way we learn language. While how we think affects how we act, it also works the other way around. This is one of the ways that cognitive behavioral therapy works. Boys and girls are taught to prioritize different things, to behave in certain ways and react to things in different ways, and if trained in from an early enough age, this will serve to embed particular ways of thinking. So yes, there is a difference of sorts, though we can only speak in terms of averages, not how any individual can be expected to behave. But it's a difference that's trained in by society rather than determined by biology. Now your circumstances play a very big role on how you perceive your world, to the point you can't understand people with different circumstances and experiences. You can try to understand and try to be empathetic, but you will never properly understand something until you experience it the way another person did. Edit. Also, something like hormones influence your decision making, and men and women have different hormone structures. I can only imagine how it is to be a woman, how it is to feel unsafe, how it is to get a condescending treatment despite having skills and knowledge. The same happens the other way around. A woman can only imagine how it feels to be expected to solve your every problem on your own, and how it feels to get little empathy from others. Knowing something and living it are two different things. I don't have a background in psychology, but I think women and men are taught to be very different. Specifically, often expected to take on a caregiving role. I do really believe that women are taught to be much better at showing empathy and communicating effectively. This is a gray question that would need a 2-page essay answer on my end. You can be a mature and empathetic person, but still not truly grasp what it is like from the perspective of the other gender. I may understand the fear of walking alone at night through logic and empathy, but I will never truly understand what it's like to be a woman in that situation. Having grown up hearing stories or having something happen directly to you or someone you know, blanket statements are dangerous, but not always wrong. Yes. Not like how they are talking, no. It's not biologically. It's sociological. We're raised differently based on our gender. Supposedly, I think more like a woman than a man despite being cis male.